Afternoon, and I'll invite you to stand up for just a moment and move around, stretch, breathe. Feel that air go all the way to the bottom of your lungs, not just the top part. And while you're moving around, we will be utilizing this worksheet that has got the blue banner on the top. You should find it on the right-hand side of your folder. So if you can locate that while you're stretching. While I figure out. Oh, it's counterintuitive. Okay. So this morning, Jackie gave us experience about getting in touch with our insides, being more self-aware. Helene moved through an exercise around values, what is important to us, how to get more of that into our day, into our life. Kathy just did a great presentation on how to advocate for ourselves, how to have important conversations. We're going to bring all those skills forward into this presentation as I take you on a journey about how to find your voice. And find your voice so that you can have more of the kind of impact that you want to have. And whatever stage of career you're in, you are a leader, and people are looking up to you. Whether that MD, that DO behind your name means that people are looking to you for leadership. Maybe it's your patients, maybe it's staff, maybe it's someone in your organization, but you are seen as a leader. And so, to help you make the kind of difference that you want to have, we're going to be talking about your leadership brand. And what your leadership brand is, it's really a promise about what you'll deliver, the results, and what people can expect from you while you're delivering those results. You might think about it as a promise that you make to yourself and to others. And so I'll talk more about the definition of leadership brand in just a moment. But first I want to give you an idea about what leadership brand does to solve a problem that's really a common problem for most leaders. And that is, and probably you've been there, I know I have, is that you have something important to say, but your message just isn't getting through. I'm seeing some nodded heads, so I assume that maybe you can relate to that. And if your message isn't getting through, how can you get people to focus their attention? How can you get them to move forward and get results? And the thing that's really sad to me and why I love doing this presentation is too many women have good ideas, they want to make a difference, and they're frustrated because they feel invisible. I've already seen some head nods about, yeah, it's like I'm at a meeting and I don't feel like I'm there. And really what you want is to be heard and get results. And you think about what the definition of a leader means, that you're working with people, you're not doing it all yourself. And so for that to happen, people need to know what you're delivering, and they need to know, what they can expect. You need to get their attention so that they'll focus on the outcomes and move forward. And ultimately, that's what a leadership brand does for you, is it gives people a clear expectation about it gets your message across clearly so that they'll know what you're going to be delivering and who you'll be while you're doing it. And so what's important about that is when people know what to expect, then it engenders commitment. They can get behind you. They feel connected to what you're doing. And that is what a leadership brand can do to you, or do for you to help you get results. So before we talk about a leadership brand, which I'm going to walk you through an example of how to create one for yourself, I want to tell you one of the biggest myths that I find gets in women's way to have the kind of leadership impact they want. And that's the belief that I can't be myself and be an effective leader. So I'm seeing some heads nod about that. And it's a sad state of being, because when you believe that you can't be yourself and you think that you have to be somebody else, it creates a sense of conflict. Well, if I can't be myself, I have to be somebody else, and that doesn't feel good. But it's a really common and easy thing to believe when you've been told, well, you're too emotional. How many of you have had maybe the experience of choking back tears because emotions aren't appreciated. I'll be seen as weak, so don't go there. Maybe you've been called too bossy and possibly wondered, well, if a gentleman said the same thing in the same tone of voice, would they be considered proactive? Sometimes, too much, not enough, too something. But what I want you to know today is that the facts don't support that myth. What the facts support is that the key to effective leadership is to be yourself and to do it consistently. In fact, Gallup Research Corporation, they studied one question for 30 years. And that was the question, what do effective leaders do? And what they found is there's no one strength, there's no one style that all effective leaders have. What effective leaders do is they know their strengths, they use their strengths, they invest in their strengths. And that's not a pass, if you will, to ignore what might be a behavior or a mindset that you know it's not really serving you. But the real point here is to focus on your strengths and to develop those. And what I mean by be natural and work on your strengths is that the strengths that come naturally to you, the things that we're all naturally good at something. Some of us are more extroverts, some of us are more silent, some of us gather people. We're all good at something. We have styles, we have strengths. So to lean into those. Because if you're trying to be someone else because you think that's what's going to make you more successful, people figure it out. They feel it. They notice it, in time at least. And then they don't trust you. And so I'll ask you the question, how hard are you working to get people to trust and to follow you? Because when you walk your talk and you respond in a way that's natural to you, people are more likely to want to follow in your footsteps. And that's really what a leadership brand helps you do, is focus on your strengths, what you're doing, and get that message out. So consistent, congruent behavior builds trust. And I said that, trust really supports people following you, wanting to be on your team when they trust you. I think it was Helene that said honesty was an important value of hers, but trust is an important part of that. And so congruent, consistent behavior helps build trust. And that's a lot of what a leadership brand does for you, is helps you have that consistent, congruent behavior. And so what I mean by that, for example, consistent is acting or doing something the same way over time. One of my clients said to me, "It's so frustrating. The CEO says that our number one priority is to be the employer of choice and have a good kind of culture. But today he's all freaked out about the productivity metrics. So which is it? Is it the culture or is it the metrics? What are we primarily focusing on?" So that consistency, when people don't know what your message is, when you say one thing and then act another way, it confuses people. And confusing people is not how to move forward and build trust. And then the second one, congruent, in harmony or in agreement. I love this in harmony part. And it thinks about, well, in harmony with what? Congruent implies between two things, at least two things. And so congruent with yourself. This morning, Helene talked a bit about our values. And so am I being congruent with my values, with what's important to me? Congruent with my work unit. Is what I'm doing focusing on what's most important to my team, my department, my organization, looking for that congruence. And then the third being behavior, which is the way that you act. And so, you've heard it for many years that, walking your talk. Your leadership brand is expressed not in just what you say, but of course in your behavior and what you do. And the leader sets the tone, sets the direction. And so your behavior is an important part of building trust. So the congruent, the consistent, in word, act, and deed, basically, these are aspects of what your leadership brand helps you to pull together. So your leadership brand, it's a statement that signals your leadership capacity and your commitment. And so think about it as a promise about what you will deliver and what people can expect from you while you're delivering it. You're signaling your leadership capacity and your interest, whether you're conscious of leadership brand or not. It's what people are perceiving. And so to be conscious about your leadership brand is a powerful way to signal what's important to you, and also it's a powerful way to be more authentic. I was working with a woman physician. She's an executive at high levels, and she said to me, "This is really important for physicians because we don't think this way." And so managing your leadership brand can help you to have that kind of impact so that people know what you'll deliver and what they can expect from you while you're doing that. So before I show you how to do it, I'm going to give you a couple examples so that you have a vision. And there's some key pieces here that I'll point out in these examples. So it starts off with, I want to be known for being. This is the promise part of it. It's a promise to yourself. It's a promise to others about what people can expect. And then you'll notice that there's qualities. These are the qualities that you want to show up as. And then there'll be a third part, which is the results. Leaders get results. This one actually is mine. I want to be known for being boldly committed, playfully innovative, and passionately inspired to create a world where women physicians are valued and appreciated for their leadership. The second one, I want to be known for being empathically courageous, flexibly unflappable, and productively playful, so I can get the academic scientific community to reach its potential. So you can start to see what they want to be known for and what the outcomes that they're focused on. It's like, this is their brand. People know this is what I'm about. I'm about this, delivering this result. And then the third example, there we go. I want to be known for being strategically passionate, holistically results-oriented, and a change agent, so I can create a financially viable palliative care program in Las Vegas. So I hope what you're seeing is it could be a big vision about doing something big, or it can be something, maybe it's interactions with just your team. The scale, the scope, that's not what's key. What's key is what you plan to deliver. So what I'm going to do now is walk you through the 5 steps. I'm going to use a case study to show you what that will look like. And then my intention is to make it clear enough that you can do this on your own and ask questions along the way where it's not clear so that you can do this on your own. So the 5 steps to creating that leadership brand. 1, determine the results you want to achieve, the qualities you want to be known for, describe your desired identity, construct the brand, and then test and adjust. So this is Dr. Ellen, and she is the Chief Medical Officer for a federally qualified health center. We were doing this work. She was in the first 6 months of the CMO job. I think there was someone else that said they were in the first 6 months of a new big job, right? So it's a great time to look at being conscious about your leadership brand. For Dr. Ellen, she said to me, the past CMO, he had his hands in everything, didn't get results. I feel like I have employee issues and accountability issues with my staff. So that just gives you a little background about Dr. Ellen. So the first thing that we did was we determined the results that she wanted to achieve. So when you think about results, you need to think about what adds value to your stakeholders. And what adds value is going to be different depending on who they are. What's important to your patients, what's important to your team, what's important to your organization. So looking at all those levels depending on what your situation is. And then secondly, we looked at her role. As a CMO, there were roles and requirements, expectations for this position. So that needed to be factored into what she wanted to achieve. And so for Ellen, it was important to her to change the culture. I think I mentioned that there were issues, accountability, staff, and so they wanted to change the culture. And she knew that at her level in the organization, she had that capacity. That was a possibility. And so that was exciting to her. She knew that would really make a difference. It was exciting to her. It would definitely impact in a positive way the staff, and patients would benefit clearly. So it met those criteria. Her boss, the CEO, he was all about changing the culture. In fact, he wanted to be the employer of choice, and they were in a rural area. So it was a big commitment to him. So this goal, I want to build a culture where people want to engage and excel in our mission. That was what Ellen wanted to be known for. In this case, it was, that's not going to happen overnight. So we were looking at, kind of a 12-month focus. Depending on your situation, maybe it's 6 months to 12 months, but something that, given your situation, you can get your arms around and define, okay, what's important for this period of time. The second step was to identify the qualities that Ellen wanted to be known for. And so when you think about the qualities, given the results that you're trying to achieve, how will you need to be seen? What qualities, maybe even what values, will you need to lean into that you will be required to get these results? And so in looking at the qualities that she wanted to be known for, we started with her values. We looked at her current leadership brand to see, well, what was showing up. And for Ellen, decisive, strategic, consistent, these were things that had already been important to get her where she was. Ellen was known as a get-it-done kind of person. She had her hands in things, but she got results. And so these were important qualities that she would want to take forward and lean into to accomplish this goal. This list down here of qualities to be developed came from an awareness that there was some gaps. There were some areas that Ellen didn't have some of the qualities that she knew would serve her to meet that goal. So we looked at some of the feedback that she had gotten. Ellen is a very direct communicator, and sometimes that came and passionate. Sometimes that came across as abrasive, sometimes unpredictable. So she needed to develop, that's where we added the aspirational goal of trustworthy. It made her look a little less trustworthy because people couldn't always expect, how is Ellen showing up today? So we were going to work on her self-management, on asking more questions, being less directive to involve her team more. So we added this aspirational goal. We also added the goal of, or the quality of inspired. Because Ellen was such a hands-on person, she knew that to achieve these goals, she would need to develop and inspire, for sure, her direct reports to take on more role, more responsibility, because she couldn't do this by herself. She would need to develop other people. And the innovative, we added that because she would need to lean into that quality. It was going to take some creativity, some innovation to reach this goal. So there were existing qualities. There were qualities that she wanted to lean into and more aspirational. But what's important to note here is that there are no qualities that Ellen couldn't live up to or didn't want to live up to. And so that's that authenticity part where it really, it's authentic, it's about you. It doesn't mean that it's all has to already be true, but she's stretching into these goals. In fact, with Ellen particularly, the authenticity part was really important. She said to me, I really want to smooth out my rough edges, but I don't want to lose myself in the process. And I see lots of nodding heads. It's like, yeah, you want to just smooth out the rough edges, but not lose who you are. And so the third step, this is a little bit of creativity on this step where it says, describe your desired identity. We had identified 6 qualities in step 2. And in step 3, what we're doing is combining those 6 qualities into 3 two-phrase sentences. So the purpose of doing this is to, deepen the descriptions and see what else is there for you. Are these even the right 6 words? I like to think about it as picking up a diamond, and you look at the light in different facets and you see something a little differently. And so this is just letting your creativity, play with these 6 words. So in Ellen's case, decisive was already an existing strong quality, but innovative. We combined innovative and decisive because she wanted to keep that decisive edge, but she wanted to be more innovative about it. So it just gave a little different quality and character to a strength. And when you add a strength and a stretch together, it makes the stretch seem a little easier. Strategically inspired. Frankly, that was a reminder to her about, why am I not doing it all myself? Oh yeah, I need to inspire others. So have some fun with it sometimes too. That was an important reminder to her about this is a strategic choice. And so the 4th step is combining steps 2 and 3 were about the qualities you want to be known for, with step 1, which is the outcome. And so her brand statement was, I intend to be known for being innovatively decisive, strategically inspired, and consistently trustworthy, to build a culture where people want to engage and excel in our mission. And so what you can see that contains is what her intention is, who she wants to be and will need to be to accomplish that goal. And it's all about leaders get results. She's focusing on this outcome. And then the last step was to test and adjust as needed. So Ellen got some feedback from her CEO. That might sound a little intimidating, but they have a great working relationship, and she knew that she could get feedback and ask, are these the kinds of qualities that you think would be required to get this outcome? She asked some of her team members, and she was working with her coach to get this done. And so after getting feedback about, yeah, that makes sense, and she landed on, okay, this is my brand statement. But what's important to know is that once you have that brand statement, you're not done. Because your brand statement is really a live document. And so your brand statement, who you want to be, what you want to deliver, it's going to change. It's going to evolve. As you do, as your tasks do, it's going to change. So in Ellen's case, we revisited her brand statement 6 months after we developed that. And in that 6-month period, she said, you know what? People are speaking up more at meetings. I'm managing myself and letting people speak more. I don't think I need the stretch goal of attention around trustworthy. And so we updated that because she'd seen progress, and it was like that no longer inspired her. And then at the same time, because the organization had new opportunities, new challenges, we checked the other qualities to see, does this still work? Do these still fit? And then because they did, then we maintained that. So Ellen was really glad that she had made this investment in her personal leadership brand, because as you've probably experienced, things didn't get easier. evolved, and she had actually a much broader span of people that she was supervising than she'd had the 6 months previously. But because she'd done this work, people knew what to expect from her. They knew who she was. They knew what she was focused on. And it was easier to get people to follow her, to get motion going. So the investment really paid off for her. So when you look at these steps in review, what steps caused you to say, when I get home and when I try to do this myself, what might I need some help with, or what's not clear to me at this point? See if I can answer that now for you. Yeah.
It's not clear to me how you would use this besides inspiring yourself.
Okay. Can anyone think of where they might use, beside yourself, a statement like this? Yeah? I actually put mine on my website, because that way people know, oh, this is what you can expect from her. You know, it's like a brand. It puts it out there about, oh, when we need someone that is focused on this, we're going to her, because, you know, for things that are coming up, projects, a certain kind of approach to things, then they know, oh, this is something that, you know, she stands for. You know, what does she stand for? What's important to her? And so people will think of you for those things. You can share it with your team. What other places can you imagine using this?
I just think it's tough, because it's like giving, any health system, what are they going to say? We stand for quality, education, and, great care. I mean, like, he's going to say, well, we stand for shit. Like, no, so, I mean, how does your brand stick out? How do you actually live up to that brand in the first place?
Well, you know, part of the brand is about, we each have, there is maybe something you're particularly concerned about. There's maybe a quality of yours that you would want to highlight. Your leadership brand differentiates you from other people. We all have some unique strength or interest or passion, and so if you're intentional about what that is to yourself first, and then other people know what it is, then you'll be known for that. So it's not so much about the organization brand, but about your personal brand, how to differentiate yourself as a leader. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. How do you align those statements, right? Right. Right. That's a great question. And my response to that would be that we picked 6 qualities. These were the 6 that she was focusing on, that she knew these would be key qualities to lean into. We all have more than 6 qualities that are accurate about us and that we could use. So these are the ones that she wanted to lean into, that they would really be important for this focus. Yeah, thanks. Uh-huh.
It seems like this is important just for your internal direction. To
Mm-hmm.
be able to kind of continually ask yourself, who am I? And am I everything that I say I am?
Mm-hmm.
Am I living up to this? This is what I said that I wanted to be, or that I am, and are my actions
In alignment with that, right? Mm-hmm.
I could see that being really helpful to reflect on, to say, no, I'm not doing, this isn't happening, or whatever. I don't think this part of this is happening.
Right.
Maybe help me to kind of continually prepare, and be in alignment with what you
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like a North Star. This is what I say I want to be. But what's important, and particularly for a leader, I repeatedly said, leaders get results. And so it's about the qualities, it's who you are, but it's also about adding value in a way that makes a difference, that has the kind of impact. And so ultimately, when you feel like you're not having the kind of impact you want to have, it's, think about, am I making a clear statement about what I'll deliver and who I'll be while I'm doing that? Because that's how you'll be known, consciously or not consciously. So developing your leadership brand, it's a strategic way to signal to other people your interests, your commitments, and it's also a powerful way to keep being authentic, keep bringing that forward. So my hope for you is that, like Ellen, she did that work. And she had a leadership brand. It helped her to, put out who she was in a clear way. It made her job easier. And so, hopefully you can walk through that worksheet for yourself and, play with it and apply that. And of course, any questions at a later date, find me. I'm glad to answer them. Okay? Great.